According to reports I've received from my mommy, the great director and actor Rob Reiner passed away peacefully in his sleep of old age. She's not aware that I'm on Twitter, and I am on Twitter, and the right is all over Twitter, having a field day celebrating this comedy legend's death. They're out there, they're all over the internet calling this man a child trafficker. As if he's the one out there redacting the Epstein files or forcing your daughter, your 10-year-old daughter, to have babies. And they try to justify their cruelty by claiming that the left celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. But all the left really did was just play clips of Charlie Kirk saying racist and misogynistic shit. And of course, losing their jobs for it. This is what's known as a false equivalency. Charlie Kirk was a well-known fascist. He was an advocate for fascism. He was a racist. He was a misogynist. Rob Reiner was Marty DeBurgi from Spinal Tap. But, you know, to these pickle dicks, misogyny is their princess bride. To them, what Stand By Me is to us, being scared of black pilots is to them. Charlie Kirk was not the free speech advocate that the right claims him to be. I mean, he started off his career putting out lists of, public lists of professors that he disagreed with in order to get them canceled for simply teaching the truth to their students. His fans also like to pretend that he was a deeply religious man. And I think that that's, based on this clip that I found, I think that that's quite, I think that's questionable. This is Miss Rachel, the children's educator.
Important to me, and it's also one reason why I love every neighbor. In Matthew 22, a religious teacher asked Jesus, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus says to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. There's no greater commandments than these. Leave it.
Okay, I think it's important that we repeat that, because Charlie later on in this video is going to try to pull a sleight of hand. And it's important that you remember the words that came out of her mouth. She mentioned Matthew 22, the two highest laws in Christianity, which is to love God and to love your neighbor as you would yourself.
In Matthew 22, a religious teacher asked Jesus, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus says to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. There's no greater commandments than these. I believe it's mentioned 8 times, love your neighbor. So yes, everyone belongs, everyone's welcome, everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It doesn't say love every neighbor except. There are so many reasons I stand strong in love. I stand with everyone. That's who I am. And the love back and the God bless if you disagree is genuine.
Andrew? I was just, to Jack's point, I'm dying to know, like, what do you think when Miss Rachel quotes scripture in that way?
I mean, Satan's quoted scripture plenty.
That's Charlie Kirk comparing Miss Rachel to Satan. They used to do this to Mr. Rogers, especially after he died. Fox News really went after Mr. Rogers. And the reason why people like this go after Miss Rachel and Mr. Rogers is these two were fierce advocates, or are fierce advocates, for children's education. And they're really big into encouraging a sense of self-worth among children. And there is no bigger threat to the establishment than an educated working class who knows their worth. That's why South Park went after Rob Reiner so hard back in the day. Rob Reiner was also, besides films and acting, he was also a lobbyist in California. He lobbied hard for early childhood education, and he managed to, he was very big on taxing cigarettes and using that money to pay for early childhood education. And this triggered the South Park boys so hard that they called him fat, because they're comedy geniuses. Let's continue down this hole.
It doesn't just say love your neighbor, though. It does say love your neighbor, except in a
No, it doesn't. It literally does not say. I will read it to you guys.
sense.
As yourself, but hold on. She's not totally wrong when she says, first of all, the first part is Deuteronomy 6:3-5. The second part is Leviticus 19. So you love God. So you must...
No. She didn't say Leviticus. She didn't say Deuteronomy. Leviticus and Deuteronomy are in an entirely different Bible. She was quoting the New Testament. Leviticus and Deuteronomy are in the Old Testament. She said very clearly, Matthew 22, which I will proceed to read for you. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. In other words, it's like the 14th Amendment. You can pass a law if you want to. But if it's discriminatory, then it's unconstitutional because it's in the 14th Amendment. Whatever law you passes, if it involves ostracizing or oppressing your neighbor, or saying that they can't get married, for example, while you can, then it's a violation of Christianity. It's a direct violation of Christianity. It's called the Golden Rule, and it's pretty famous. It's more popular than the Beatles, in fact. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Love his law. How do you love somebody?
Here we go, folks.
You love them by telling them the truth, not by confirming or affirming their sin. And it says, by the way, Miss Rachel, you might want to crack open that Bible of yours. In a lesser referenced part of the same part of Scripture is in Leviticus 18, is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death.
No, it is not the same Scripture. It's an entirely different book. And do unto others as you would have them do unto you does not mean stoning people to death, unless you're really into getting stoned to death. This is a common trick amongst, what do you call them? Christian extremists, fundamentalists, MAGA Christians, right-wing Christians. It's the deliberate confusion of the Old Testament with the New Testament. Except Charlie here and his buddies, his pickle dick buddies, can't plead ignorance because they literally just heard her say Matthew 22 and they pretended that she said Leviticus. People like this are not interested in worshiping Jesus as much as they are interested in worshiping whiteness. It's about power to them. That's all. Religion is simply a means to an end. Your end. And by the way, if and this isn't a matter of opinion, this is just simply a fact. If you believe that the Old Testament supersedes the word of Jesus Christ, well, then you might as well just start playing your Judas Priest records backwards, my friend, because you need to prepare for the warm embrace of Satan. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays.